Weekly update for Friday, May 22nd. From Cory D, somewhere in Mississippi. I'm not really a fan letter sender kind of guy, so forgive me if I'm too direct and bereft of whatever the conventions for fan letters are. I think all the hate you get from feminists and other S-T heads, feminists and other S-T heads is undeserved. But please remember that for great artists, all the controversies and gaffes or whatever end up in posterity being amusing anecdotes or inspiring struggles that only increase the appreciation of the artist and do not negatively impact appreciation of the artist's work. Some artists had it even worse than you, but what people mostly think of hundreds of years later is their work and towering genius. What I'm saying is that all the BS people say about you will eventually pass, hopefully within your lifetime. I believe Cerebus is almost entirely without peer among the great artworks of the world. It mastered its medium, then expanded it and took it in new directions, and then it affected the way comics are distributed. Dante's Divine Comedy has formal perfection and used the medium to explore theology in ways entirely unknown before then. But it did not disrupt the poem distribution industry. It's an interesting point. Hell, I'm all the more in awe of what you accomplished because I failed to do any of those things in my own artistic medium, which is not comics. Maybe that's why, for the first time in my life, I'm writing to a complete stranger. You are unfairly maligned. Your work is amazing and is my favorite comic. And I failed in every area where you not merely succeeded, but triumphed. I hope this letter, however insignificant it may be, brings you joy, or whatever the hell it is famous people get from fan letters. If you wouldn't mind telling me how you feel about fan letters in general, I'd like to hear it. Personally, I could see it getting old and would probably blow up my mailbox. Anyway, have you read Hunter x Hunter? The artist's artwork isn't as good as yours, and he doesn't explore politics and theology at all, but his narrative and character work are great, and you might appreciate it. Would you recommend some great comics, films, or whatever to me, please? Normally I only ask friends who know my taste to recommend things to me, but I've never had the opportunity to get recommendations from a genius before. I'm pretty much a Luddite now without consistent access to internet, phone, and other stuff, so the best way to reach me is by mail. Below is my address. P.S. I may send this same letter through the mail in a week or two just to make sure you got it. I'm highly skeptical that anyone has a fax machine today, or that I can somehow type a fax into a website and have it actually go through. P.P.S. If you dislike receiving this letter and object to having your mailbox violated in addition to your fax machine, you can always send a stern rebuke before my lazy ass finds its way to the post office to get the requisite postage stamps. So I faxed him back. Fax email relay through Sean Robinson going, the fax came through, it's okay. Watch your mailbox. So on the way to him is to Cory D. Thank you for your fan letter. Fan letters are an extreme rarity in the internet age, and it's always flattering to be hailed as a genius. In comics, I recommend all of Will Eisner's work, but particularly A Contract with God, Bill Sienkiewicz's Stray Toasters, and Frank Miller and Bill Sienkiewicz's Electra Assassin. Books, Norman Mailer's Armies of the Night, and advertisements for myself. Muriel Sparks, The Prime of Miss Jean Brodie, and the film adaptation, A Very Different Thing, but equally interesting, starring Maggie Smith. That's all in my past now. I read the interlinear version of John's Gospel aloud at least once a week. Hort and Westcott, 1881. I'm sure you can find it somewhere online. Thanks again, and I hope you continue to enjoy Cerebus. So that's on its way to Cory, if he is a complete Luddite and doesn't have access to the weekly update, then that'll be the first that he hears of it. Okay, thanks everyone for your kind attention, and I hope we'll see a bunch of you next week.